Greetings everyone, really excited to be with you here today. I finally have a video of my wife's new 2018 Audi Q5. We waited a long time to get this car, and we had to wait even longer unfortunately because when we were going to take delivery of it, they found out that it was damaged doing the PDI. So we had to wait to get a replacement car. They wanted to send it out to get body work, and I said absolutely not. We wanted a similar car, so it took a week to find another car, which was this particular car. But so far, aside from that only hiccup, which wasn't the salesman's fault. It's these things happen. Otherwise, the car's been fantastic. My wife and I both really like this car, and as much as I love the S3 and as premium as that feels, the new Q5, this thing, it's on a different level. I'm really glad that we ended up waiting for this one. Originally, we were tossing around the idea of maybe just getting a 2017 leftover. There were some deals out there, you could get them pretty cheap, but as nice as that car is, the interior now, it is a little bit dated. It's kind of part of that older A4 architecture, whereas this is sort of based off the newer A4 architecture. And it's really clear that this is just a whole nother level. I mean, not only are the materials fantastic in the car, this does have the virtual cockpit, which my car was not equipped with. And I gotta say, it's really brilliant. And the most fantastic thing about this car is at night. I'm gonna get a lot of night shots so you can just see the level of the LEDs, whether they're in the little door handles or just all over the place. I mean, it just is unbelievable. You gotta see one of these things in person. So we're going to do a little walk around on the car. We're going to do a couple of driving shots, just kind of a brief overview. Not going to get in depth in any one area with this review. I'll probably do 5 things that we love about it and 5 things we hate about it, although it'd be pretty hard to find 5 things we hate about this car because it is simply fantastic. But yeah, stay tuned and hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so a couple of driving impressions. First of all, the ride in this car is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously I'm coming from the S3, which is kind of a sporty ride, and this is an SUV, so it's apples and oranges. But I've been around a lot of luxury SUVs, being a Honda Acura technician. I work on quite a few MDXs and RDXs, and like I'd said in one point, we were actually looking at one of those, and the Q5 just has a little bit more of the German sophistication in the ride that you don't really get with a lot of the Japanese cars. So the handling is still pretty tight, although it's not sprung stiff or anything like that. For me, going from driving the S3 and then my wife and I go with the weekend and we take this, typically I'm the one driving. It's nice because it's still in the same family. I don't have to go relearn some entirely new infotainment system, although it is a little funky because they finally fixed the MMI interface knob, so it actually turns the correct direction now, which screws me up because I'm used to mine where it goes backwards. But I mean, that's I'm glad to see they finally figured it out, I guess. But other than that, everything, it's really simple to use. It's like I said, it's based off the A4 architecture, and I did have one of those as a loaner car when mine was in for service, and I mean, that's a fantastic car. So Audi really did a good job trying to borrow the best bits from that car and put it into this. So in my mind, this kind of feels sort of like an A4 with a lift kit. I mean, I know it's not the best analogy, but maybe if you've had a chance to drive an A4 and haven't with the Q5, if you're used to the interior layout of that car, you would be right at home in this. They did a really good job with it. Now obviously, like I said, where this shares so much with the A4, another thing it does share, to my understanding, is the engine as well. It's got a lot of pickup, especially, this is no tiny SUV. It's not a 3-seat monster or 3-row monster, but yeah, it's got a lot of pickup. I mean, obviously we're still breaking it in, so I've been taking it pretty easy on it, trying not to abuse it. But you can feel that this is Audi's crown jewel engine that's supporting a number of the models in their lineup, and it's an excellent engine. Delivers instant response. The car does not feel lethargic at all, and that's something that I really enjoy. And what I was trying to say to my wife when we were cross-shopping this versus the RDX, with the RDX having a V6, you have to wait for that power to come on because it's higher in the rev range. These new turbocharged 4-cylinders, you have so much available torque at low RPM, and she always says, it just feels like it wants to go, where the RDX, you'd have to wait for it to go. And obviously in technical terms, that's because it has more low-end torque. Us car guys know that. And I mean, it really, love hate turbocharging or hate it, It's here to stay. It gets you better fuel economy and it gets you better drivability with low end torque. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan, at least as far as, you know, daily driving. I mean, the performance segment, yeah, I still feel there's a big need for natural aspiration. But with the way they did this, it's absolutely fantastic. Now again, too, the ride, it's nice and quiet. I actually notice a little bit of wind noise in my car above 70 miles an hour, which I don't notice in this. I would attribute that to probably just the mirrors being a little bit of a different design. You know, the handling feels tight. The brakes in this thing are phenomenal. As far as I can tell, they look like they're actually monoblock calipers in the front. So it's nice to see that, you know, Audi didn't skimp out on the brakes or really anything else on this car. I think in a little bit I'll probably go over the configuration of this car and why we chose the options we chose. So the specification on our car, it's a Premium Plus model that we decided on white. We got the optional 19-inch sport wheels with it. The base wheels with the 18s looked a little too tiny. The 19s are a good fit. We also went with the navigation package, which includes the virtual cockpit, along with the cold weather package, which also includes the 3-spoke multifunction steering wheel with heat. And there you can see the beautiful tailgate opening with the power assist. It's really quite a nice feature. You know, they've integrated it very well into the car. It doesn't beep or doing any other annoying functions. Alright, so some interior impressions. First of all, this wasn't our first choice as far as the inlays are concerned. Basically, as far as pre-configured cars go, they all come with the, I guess it's kind of a walnut inlay or wood, whatever you want to call it. We would have liked the aluminum ones, but I guess we're too young and trendy for Audi's typical demographic, which apparently prefers the wood ones. So the only way you can get the aluminum ones is if you pre-build the car, at least in our area, and that's a 3-month wait time. So the wife didn't feel like waiting 3 months. I can't say I blame her. She's been wanting a new car for 2 years, so kind of had to deliver on that promise finally. In person, they're not too bad though. They're growing on me, you know. They don't look totally cheesy like some other manufacturers. It's just a kind of a style thing. Now, I will say one thing that we're both not too keen on with this car is this whole auto stop-start stuff. I don't know. That's just the dumbest feature in the world, and I don't care what any engineer says. I don't believe it saves any fuel. I purely believe that it's part of some Volkswagen Audi emissions bullshit. I don't know. Either way, I wish the default was with it off, because basically you have to get in the car and push the button every time, or it drives you absolutely crazy when you pull up to a stoplight and you think it's stalled. Again, it's something we'll just get used to it. I know that's the way all these technologies are going. It's just dumb. But, I mean, you can see the rest of the interior. You know, these buttons are laid out beautifully. I hate to admit that both of us, we didn't realize at first, when you touch these, you can see they kind of, it's like a soft touch, they light up. And you can click it down. But we kept on clicking it, and we're like, why doesn't it cycle back around? Well, these buttons also go up. So, you know, it took us about three days of having the heater blasting in our faces and not knowing why. So read the owner's manual, people. It will save you. But yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. The buttons have a nice positive touch to them. You know, I just like how they highlight when you touch that. I mean, that is just so cool. Audi's also changed the shifter as well, just like they did in the A4. Now you just kind of have this little stub, and it's okay. Yeah, I prefer the regular shift, like in the S3. I think my biggest gripe is probably this park button thing. I'm getting used to it. You know, again, I know that's the way everyone's going. You know, you can still knock it this way for your plus minus sport shift. You know, in my opinion, that's still reversed, but hey, I guess, you know, they just have a certain way of doing things. You know, the thing that I think is a little weird is the volume knob is very far over here. I would think, you know, they should have put it over here, in my opinion. And let me see if I can demonstrate. So the quirky thing with the volume knob I was talking about, I'm a pretty short guy. I'm about 5'6". I kind of have some T-Rex arms here. So when I reach from the steering wheel over to the volume knob, yeah, I can reach it, but I kind of have to lean forward almost a little bit to reach it. I kind of wish they would have put that over here, and then you have this storage pocket, which is probably just going to get full of crumbs and junk. I mean, I guess you could put your smart key there, or maybe your smartphone if you wanted, but it's okay, you know. I mean, there's not a heck of a lot of storage up here. If there was, probably our other gripe, but again, just like with my S3, it kind of disciplines you to keep it clean. The last thing I want to go over real quick that I'm glad they changed compared to the previous generation Q5 is the mirror design. Now you can see that the mirrors on this car, they have a pretty significant space between the A-pillar and the mirror itself. On the previous generation car, the mirror was actually mounted in the corner of where the A-pillar goes, and it was a much larger housing, which created a really nasty blind spot. So I'm glad that Audi has addressed that, because that was one of my big concerns when my wife and I were looking at the 2017 Q5, and that when you're taking a tight corner, especially for shorter drivers like us, it's a potential safety hazard. I'm glad that they redesigned that. It makes this car much easier to drive, and it's much safer overall. All right, everyone, hope you enjoyed my overview of the Q5. I'm hoping to get some more videos of this car out soon. Once we get it broken in, I might do some performance testing and go over some more of the quirks with this car. So if there's anything you want to see, please drop me a comment below. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you liked it more, give it a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys around next time. Thanks.